everyone, what's up? Well, in today's video I'm going to be giving a full step-by-step tutorial on how to clean one of these carburetors on a newer Briggs Stratton engine with the plastic style carburetors. Alright, so here's the lawnmower. It is a new Toro, as you can see, with the newer Briggs Stratton, like I said. So it has the plastic carburetor, as you can see there. Now this thing is practically brand new. Actually, if I just go up over here, as you can see, it was made in March of 2022, so it's not very old at all. However, the problem with it is the previous owners, as you can see, left gas in there. So now it won't start unless you spray carburetor cleaner. Then it will fire for a few seconds and then stop. So more than likely the carburetor is plugged up somewhere. So we're gonna go through the steps here. Alright, so I just went ahead and drained the gas out of there, and this is what was in there. And it does smell kind of old, so this is probably our problem. So yeah, it just goes to show how important it is to drain fuel out of your equipment when you're not using it. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is pop the air filter off. So all you do is just lift this up and it pops out. So the cover will come off. Here's the air filter, so it just comes out, and as you can see, it's not too bad. It is a little dirty, so I'll just clean this one up the best I can until I can get another one, because I don't have any of these here. Okay, so next we need to take the box off. So in order to do that, there's 2 bolts here, 2 bolts right here. So the 2 black ones here are 8mm 5/16, and the 2 small silver ones here, they are 7mm or 9/32 will also work. Okay, so there are those. So now I need the 7mm, so let's go ahead and grab that. Okay, just like that. And now, that is one thing I'm not really too big a fan of, is they use 2 different size bolts. I wish they would have just stuck with 1. But anyway, so now those are off. You can just pull this piece off the breather tube here. So I'll just set that off. Alright, so now we can pull the carburetor off. So let's see here. So just shake it like that. Alright, so now I'm just going to go ahead and remove the fuel line real quick. So I'll just grab my pliers and reach in, pull the clip back like so. And now just go ahead and try and get in here and twist it by hand, and then just pull it like that. And now there will be a little bit of gas leaking out, so be prepared for that. And now, since I went ahead and drained the fuel tank, I'm just gonna set the line aside. However, if you still have gas in your tank, you might want to grab some vice grips and just pinch the fuel line slightly. Just make sure you don't put them on too tight, because you could damage the fuel line. Alright, so I just wanted to show the linkages real quick. So as you can see, here's the choke linkage right here. Then the one behind it is the throttle. So you're just going to want to go ahead and remove those, which I'll do right now. Alright, so now I'll go ahead and remove the linkages. So starting with the throttle one. So that just lifts off, and now we'll do the same right here. So now the carburetor is off of there. So now I'll go bring it over to the bench and we'll clean it up. Alright, so before I take this carburetor apart, as you can see, it is a little dirty on here, so I'll just blow this off with some compressed air. Alright, for this next step, you're going to need some carburetor cleaner and your 7mm socket, or 9/32 will also work too. So as you can see, there are 2 bolts here, so you're just going to want to go ahead and remove those like so. So just set those off to the side for right now. And now this carburetor, you'll find, is kind of hard to break apart by hand, so best thing to do is just take a screwdriver like this and just try and find a place to separate it. Like that. And as you can see, gas will be coming out. So here's what we got inside. So everything looks clean here. So most likely it's probably a clogged jet, I'm thinking. So now we'll just go ahead and continue disassembling this carburetor. So now the first thing you want to do is remove the float here. So just reach in there with the screwdriver and this pulls out. Like so. And just set that to the side. And now the needle here, as you can see, came out. It went inside this hole here. So make sure you do not lose that, by the way. Also, do not lose this pin either. You'll need that. Alright, so oops, sorry about that. So now the next thing we'll do is go ahead and remove this white piece here, which I believe is called the cartridge. So just kind of reach in there with the small screwdriver. Sorry if I'm not in frame for you guys. Now it's a bit difficult to get this thing out at times. Just make sure you don't damage it when you do it. But there we go. Now it just pulls out like so. So there's look inside there. So now right here is more than likely what our problem is going to be. So if I just hold that up to the camera, that right there, this is your main jet, and it is so important that this is clear, because a lot of times that is what will stop these carburetors from working. So yeah, there's also some other holes here too you want to check. And now this also comes apart further just by pulling this out. Like so, just wedge a screwdriver in there and pull out. And it looks like, hang on, looks like this hole here is plugged. Okay, so that's not going to help us. So now let's clean this carburetor up, starting with the main part of the carburetor. So I'm just going to spray these little holes down here. And make sure you be careful with that, because it can shoot up like it did there. And now when I do this one, as you can see, it's coming out there, so that's good. That means it's not plugged. That's exactly what you want. And now another thing we'll do too is spray side here where the fuel line goes. So, and as you can see, stuff was coming out of here, but not very much, so just try and spray some more in there. Okay, so there's that. So this doesn't really need cleaning, but I'll go ahead and spray it anyway while we're here. And this needle, go ahead and spray that too. Spray that. And now we'll get to this piece here, the very important piece. So I'll just go ahead and put the red nozzle, get that as dead center as possible. Okay, and now we'll clear out the main jet. And now, as you can see when I did that, hold this up to the camera. As you can see, it's coming out there, so that's good. So that means it's not plugged. And that's exactly what you want. So yeah. And it looks like I've managed to unplug that hole there. So that's good. Still looks a little plugged though, so just go ahead and add a little more. Like so. Alright, so on this piece here too, there's another jet there, so just go ahead and spray that out. And as you can see, it's not plugged, so that's good. Alright, so now the next thing I like to do is take some blowtorch tip cleaners like this, or you can use any super small wire, whatever you have. But basically what you want to do is just kind of go inside these holes here, if I can get it. There we go. It was going through there. Okay. So now just kind of move it back and forth like that, just to make sure that it's nice and cleared out. Which this one here is, as you can see. Before you couldn't even see through it, it was plugged. So now it's not. Just go ahead and do the same here. And in there. And now just a good idea to check these things, make sure. So that's done. Now we'll check inside here. As you can see, it's quite small in there, so it is quite easy for these to get plugged, which is exactly what we don't want. But this one looks good though, so now what I'll do is just go ahead and put this back together. Like so. Like that. Now you want to make sure it's nice and secure. Alright, so I'll go ahead and do these jets here as well. So just go ahead and put that down there. Like that. And as you can see, it went right down, no problem, so that's good. Just there. And right in here too, it can also get plugged in there. So make sure that these holes here are not plugged. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is just take your needle, slide it in like that. Just make sure it doesn't fall out. And then just go ahead and put it back inside, like so. And then take your pin and just go ahead and put it in like so, and just press it down. And that's exactly what you want. You want it to click in place. Now take your cartridge and go ahead and put it back in like that. And now make sure it goes in the right way. You want it facing this way, because otherwise if it's in the, might be too late, but I'll take it back out and I'll show you guys. So just go ahead and pop it out, but if I go to put it in that way, as you can see, it won't actually go in. So it's not so it's pretty easy to put back in like so. So as you can see, it's just about put back together. It's basically the same as the disassembly. So now just go ahead and put the bowl back on like so, and make sure that seal is on there nice and even. Anyway, just kind of make sure it's in there like that. And now take your 2 bolts and just put them in. Now I will run them down with the impact, but I will not tighten them up. I'll go ahead and do the rest by hand. Now I'll just go ahead and torque it down with the ratchet. Like that. Just check the torque. Alright, so now our carburetor is put back together, so let's go ahead and install it back on the lawnmower. Alright, so the first thing I'll do is go ahead and hook up the throttle linkage right here. So I'll just go ahead and put it in if I can. Now it is a little tight doing this, but there you go. Okay, so now we can just go ahead and line it up right here. So we just want to make sure it sits in nicely, and it does. So now just go ahead and take the fuel line and stick it in like that, and just go ahead and put the clip back on. So just reach down, put it up there, and there's that. Alright, and put this gasket back on. Alright, so I just went over to the air compressor again. I blew off the housing, cover, and air filter. I also went ahead and wiped all this out with the rag, which is very important because you want these to be clean at all times, because otherwise all this work we just did will go to waste. So yeah, so I'll go ahead and put the housing back on. So as you can see right in there, I don't know if you guys can see, but right here is the breather tube, so we want to hook that up with this piece here.
Sorry about that. Basically, which can be a little challenging, but we'll just go ahead and do it. Alright, so I finally got it back in. So now, just go ahead and pop it in like that. Now we can put our bolts back on. So start with the two black ones here, which go on to the sides like that. So we'll do that one. Whoops. Now I'll just run it down with the impact. Alright. So go ahead and switch to the 7mm socket. Alright, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and do the rest by hand. I don't like using an impact on these because this is plastic. I don't want to strip out the bolts. So, not too much torque. Good. Alright, so go ahead and grab the air filter, which, by the way, there's the, I don't know if you guys can see, but there's the part number 593260. So you just put it on like so. Alright, so now you can go ahead and put your cover on like that. And now the carburetor is all done, so let's go ahead and start it up.
Alright, let's see what happens here. Awesome. Sweet. So as you can see, it's not really all that hard to do. So hopefully this helped you guys. If you enjoyed, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Alright everyone, thanks for watching.